So first, I want you guys to introduce yourself. For example, how old are you? When did you move to Switzerland? How long did you live there? And when did you move back to US?
Okay, I'm Nico. I'm 12 years old. I moved to Switzerland when I was 8 and moved back when I was 11. Um,
I am Olive. I moved to Switzerland when I was 8 and moved back when I was 11.
we're twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when you lived in Switzerland, what kind of school did you go to? So, just asking, for example, public school, or did you go to like an international school and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we were there for 3 years, and each year we went to a different school. So first it was a private school called
International.
it was called SIS, and it was like it was half German, half English. And then we went to
Then we went to the public schools, but for people who don't know German, they send them to a different school.
So we
just
went-
for learning German called
Yeah.
the Aufnahmeklasse.
so we went to the Aufnahmeklasse for a year, and we learned German in pretty much a year because we didn't learn that much the first year. And then we went to the normal public schools near our house.
Basically, the first year might have been a little waste of time for your education of learning German because it was only half of the time. But afterwards, you went to 1 year for the Aufnahmeklasse and bang. And also, I heard that my brother was also in your class. Was that right?
He was in
He was in
other.
other class because there were 2 classes in the Aufnahmeklasse. There was like slightly younger kids from like
Basically same class, but
basically the same class.
What kind of school are you going to now in the US?
We're going to a school called EBGIS, which is East Bay German International School.
it's
Basically-
70% German
Yeah.
and 30% English.
It's
well,
so
in Emory.
we have classes in German. A lot of our classes are in German. The only classes that we have in English are English class, and a few teachers can't speak German, so we have those classes in English. And of course, on the playground in pause or in break, we usually speak English with our friends because we all prefer English.
Would you say it's a school for German immigrants, or is it just to learn German?
I think it's both. Anyone can join if they just want.
Probably the younger kids they never learned German. They went into the school just to learn German. But the older kids they all been to Germany or lived there.
Yeah, I think almost everyone has like some sort of connection to Germany or Switzerland.
or Europe.
I think most kids, I would say one of their parents is German, but they've never actually like lived there, and then they get sent to the school so that they can speak German. We are from America, fully American. We just lived in Switzerland for a little bit, and that's how we learned German.
Yeah.
So we're a little different.
I also have another question. In the classroom, are you forced to speak German, or is it all English and doesn't matter?
Yeah, we're supposed to speak
supposed to,
German.
yeah.
Sometimes, if we can't say a sentence, it's a lot of mixing, like mixing German and English words.
In German class, we definitely have to speak German.
Interesting. Now I'm going to go to my third question. How is your German? Or should I say, wie ist euer Deutsch?
Pretty good. I mean, I still have like an accent, but I can understand anyone.
I'd like to say it's good.
Okay, now we're going to test your accent and also how good you are at speaking German with this next question. Welche Dinge hast du in der Schweiz am meisten gemisst?
Ich denke, Schwimmen. In der Schweiz gibt es so viele coole Orte, wo man schwimmen gehen kann.
Also wie den Mittenki, also alle Hallenbade und
Ja, es gibt wirklich coole so Indoor-Pools. Und
Rutschbahnen, Wasserbahnen.
ich denke, es ist besser als alles in Amerika. Ja.
Yeah. If you're going to wander around US, you would have to like go to a YMCA or something.
Yeah.
And also another question. So you were in Switzerland, you were probably speaking German regularly. Do you think when you went back to US, like you got worse at German or you got better?
Better because we went to German school.
I don't really see myself improving. I think I'm just at the same level. I don't think it's like getting worse. I think it's just the same. I don't know. That might just be my
No,
brain.
that's just what she thinks.
But I
she's
think
getting better. She gets better. She does.
I don't
This
know.
is it.
Slowly.
Was war euer Lieblingsding über Amerika, dass ihr zurück seid?
Oh,
Über das Leben in Amerika, meine ich.
hier, ich denke, ich war sehr überrascht. Also es gibt so viele Leute, die Englisch sprechen.
Ja.
Alle sprechen Englisch. Und in der Schweiz war es nicht so. Ich musste immer Deutsch sprechen und mit meinen Freunden musste ich immer Deutsch sprechen.
Ja.
Und ich könnte nicht alles sagen. Es ist einfach schwieriger, um Freunde zu machen und mit anderen Leuten zu sprechen. Und in Amerika gibt es alle sprechen Englisch.
Sehr cool.
Oh, cool.
Ja.
Und ich habe auch ein Geheimnissprache.
Ja.
Das wollte ich gerade genau wissen. Da es deine Geheimsprache war. Und gibt es etwas anderes außer diese Englisch-Ding?
Also, wenn wir in die Schweiz waren, haben wir immer Amerika vermisst und wir wollten immer zurück zu Amerika. Und jetzt, wir sind in Amerika und wir wollen zurück in der Schweiz und wir haben die Schweiz gern und wir müssen die Schweiz.
Denkt ihr, dass ihr jetzt mehr Fast Food isst, jetzt dass ihr wieder in Amerika seid?
Nein.
Nein, nicht wirklich.
Nein.
Also, in der Schweiz gab es auch Fast Food, also nicht wirklich.
Ja, und auch mein Lieblingsrestaurant ist hier in Amerika, also
Yeah.
wir gehen meistens dort.
It's like
It's Mexican.
it's a Mexican restaurant. She really likes.
A lot of Americans love Mexican food and tacos, so that's just normal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're gonna switch back to English. Those are our German questions to challenge you guys. So now, what are your biggest shocks now that you're back in American schools?
When I went to Swiss schools, there were so many shocks, and when I came back from Switzerland, I had already been to the American schools, so I knew what to expect. I knew what it was like, but there are so many differences between Swiss and American schools. Like the shoes that you have to wear inside the school in the classroom.
Oh, and
All
also
that.
you get to go like the swimming classes comes with the schools in Switzerland.
Coming back to America, we knew what to, so
Yeah.
it wasn't that different.
Yeah, I also have another YouTube video. Now it's 3,000 views. Let's go! And it talks about 7 of my biggest culture shocks about like.
No, I know. I watched that.
Watch one. I wasn't really watching.
It was the. I don't know if you were watching. I was like, when our dad told us that we were going to be interviewed, I was like, oh, I want to see what the other videos are.
And you know, so basically, when you came back from Switzerland to America, you knew exactly what to expect, or were there still some small surprises that you forgot that were still in the American school system?
Of course, when we came back, it was it was way different than from in Switzerland with the COVID restrictions. Because in Switzerland, we were already almost back to normal, and then we came back to America, and we were in quarantine and everything. So that was different. A lot. Like we go to school with masks on. We leave our masks on all day.
Yeah.
Even when we're doing sports in the hot sun, we have to keep our masks on. And I think did take a little adjusting of like wearing your mask a lot.
Last year I got like a 210. Like this side of my face was brown and this side wasn't, just
Because
because
she had the mask on. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it was weird.
Right now in Switzerland, you don't have to wear a mask before. You also have to wear a mask all the time, even in sport and outside. And also, right now, the cases are getting worse. So everyone once a week has to do a spit test, which is I think it's pretty cool that we get to do a pre-spit test.
We do tests every Friday. We
What
have
testing.
they're the ones where you have to stick it up your nose and
And
like
twirl
twirl
it
it around. We have to do that every Friday.
Yeah.
Well, also, lunch breaks in America aren't as long in Switzerland.
Oh, yeah.
Or where we lived was like an hour and a half, and I even heard in some areas it's like 3 hours, so you can go home and then go skiing and then come back to school. But how is it in America? I know it's shorter, but
I think that was also just an adjustment. I was just like, what? We like barely have any break from school. It's like so short. I think you mentioned this in your other video, but allergies in America, like peanut allergies. There's a kid in our school who is now in the high school of our school because it goes from like really little kids all the way to high school. He has like a deadly peanut allergy. He can die if he I don't know if he needs to eat the peanuts to die to like get the symptoms or if he needs to just smell it, but it's super it's deadly. And so they're very strict about the peanut rule. So our we never get peanut butter and jelly
There
sandwiches.
literally hasn't
Or
been
Nutella.
one school we've been to that we're not allowed to use peanuts.
do you feel behind or ahead now that you're back in American schools? For example, in math class, maybe you don't learn as much in Switzerland than you in America, or some other things that are more advanced once you go to America.
Yeah, I think it was basically the same. I didn't notice a big difference. The first year I had math and English because the math teacher couldn't speak German. This year we have math in German, and I noticed a huge difference. So suddenly the math class is in German, and it feels so much harder.
Yeah, because we have to learn all the names again.
Yeah, you have to learn all the math.
And now I'm worried about
it's really hard.
In the future when we have to take math and English again. I'm not gonna know anything in English.
I went into a school because my parents were Chinese. I went to this Chinese immersion school, and also I had to learn math in Chinese, so that made it pretty hard. But luckily, my brother is very smart and taught me a bunch of math stuff.
Yeah, but overall we seem pretty good in all the subjects.
Yeah. And what about the English class? Did you feel behind in that?
No.
In Switzerland, our English class was now we're gonna say the word apple. Oh, it was super easy, but we just had to sit there and bear through it. I think
I was allowed to read.
I wasn't, but I think I probably do better when school's in English than in German because English is my first language.
What are the things you remember the most about living in Switzerland and going to local Swiss schools? So, you said you had a lot of shocks. Which one do you think you remember the longest? Which ones?
Okay. I was just a few days ago, I was just thinking about Switzerland and all the memories came back to me. I think there's a few. Okay, I think
hiking.
Like Olive said, we probably have a lot of hiking memories because we went on a lot of hikes and on these big mountains and there were really beautiful views. I remember at the time I never really cared about the view. I was just why do we have to go hiking? I don't want to hike. But I think I'd probably remember that. When I started going to the public schools in Switzerland, every Monday the little kids were using the gym at our school, so we had to go to a different school to use their gym. So I always rode my bike every morning. Every Monday to that place, and then rode back. And I probably am gonna remember that a lot, the commutes to school, riding my bike to school, I used to ride my scooter too, and also we took the bus to the autonomic classes, we were taking the public buses too, just the commute to school. And then I also have one memory, we were at the lake, and there was this bridge, and I jumped off the bridge into the water.
Once.
It was really fun, and that's what I think of when I think of Lake Zurich. Just me jumping off the bridge into the water.
Also about buses, my first school, I had to walk 9 minutes to a bus stop and do this 10-minute bus ride. And for us, that was pretty like weird. Then you have to go to this area to get your official bus pass for kids, but it's free for kids. Like also,
Yeah, we had those little bus passes that we carried around on backpack. I think the bus is definitely something that I'm gonna remember. Just like hopping on the public bus. We had friends who went to a school nearby the Aufnahme Klasse, and whenever we were on the bus, we looked out the window to see if we saw them walking to school.
And then
If we saw them walking to school, we got off a stop early and then walked the rest of the way with them to school.
And then the bus was called Milchbuch, which literally means milk book. So we called it.
It's milk.
well, I also had to always take the 72, so I noticed all the stops too.
Yeah.
Do you still keep in touch with your friends that were in Switzerland?
Yeah, I have a friend who I met in the Aufnahme Klasse.
Oh, again.
And she was my friend for a really long time. I still call her, not like every day, but
Once a month.
like. And I gave my email address. Actually, I have a new email address now to a bunch of my friends in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And I think I haven't emailed them in like a year, but they have my email address, and there's a few emails that they wrote me right after I left, and that's it.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's when you're trying to communicate with German friends, unless you do a video chat, it's really hard because there's always that autocorrect where it's like, and it just automatically autocorrects your words. Like I try to like text my friends, and I try to write it in German, and I send it, and I realize, wait, that's not even what I said, and then like corrects it all into like this weird
so
English
weird.
sentence.
And my last question, do you want to go back to Europe and live there again?
Yeah, I think I probably would go back to Switzerland.
If it was an option.
If it was an option.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that would make Switzerland perfect is if they spoke English.
Then you wouldn't learn German.
Because I think that, like German and all those languages are like the second language, but everyone also speaks. Yeah. Also, I think Swiss people are a little bit more rigid and like strict. Like in America, someone who wasn't your parent would never reprimand you. Like be like, hey, don't do that, because then their parents would be like, are you talking to my kid? Like, but in Switzerland, people can reprimand you if you want. Like
Nico put her foot on.
I was sitting on the one of the buses, and I used one of the other foots as a footrest on the train, and my mom was like sitting next to it, so no one was gonna take that seat. But still, like an old lady walked up to me, get your foot down. Like multiple times that happened to me. So it's like totally okay to
There
reprimand.
was also a sign on the bus said not to do that.
It was not a sign. Like a wave goodbye.
How do you think about school in the future? I go to university and that stuff. Like, where would you do that?
Probably in America, because I'm more used to it.
Who knows?
I don't know. Ow. Also, I don't know if my German's good enough.
Yeah. Also, this is completely off subject. I just want to say I read your book and I really like it.
Okay,
Which one do you like the best, or do you only read one of them?
I only read one of them.
Monkey, you're the star of the show.
I think it was number 3. I skipped number 1. Is that a problem? Should I can read that?
It's no problem. If you
Star of the show.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm talking to my cat.
Anyway, thanks for asking us to do this.
So I think we should wrap up now. Thanks for taking your time for this call. I guess bye.
Bye.